morning. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. There's no music on this one. But the screen's different here. That sort of. Good morning, January 25th, 9:30 Pacific Standard Time. Coming at you a little late. I was a little busy this morning. Had some things to do. But here we are. Spot ETFs continue to consume the drainage of the GBTC fund. So 100,000 Bitcoin have so far been purchased by spot ETFs. So in 7 days, they've consumed 100,000 Bitcoin. Okay, so Grayscale, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust Fund, they are still selling. People can say and speculate on the interest in everything else or whatever they want to say, but the reality is that fund became useless, and they were only accumulating there for this event when the spot ETFs were approved, so they could suppress the price, control the price, bring that price down as they accumulated into their ETFs. And the interest on the GBTC fund is like a point or 1.25% higher or something like that. 0.25% to 1.25%. So maybe it's only 1%. But still, that's a big amount when you're talking about billions and billions of dollars. It is a big amount when you're talking about billions and billions of dollars. We had an in and outie. Zooming in. Again, I mean, nothing's changed. Again, so I'm not getting too worried about this day to day right now. Looking at this chart again, we're talking about the 61.8% FIB here on the bodies of the monthly candles, which is $37,000, right? So we had the breakout. You can see that we had the retest, and we hit the 78.6% FIB. Actually got above it, and now coming back down and testing this resistance as support from the 2020 bull run, as well as the 2017 bull run high. So again, I don't want to go. We could go really deep in there, but I'm not going to speculate on the 4-hour and things like that right now, because, like I said, I'm really waiting for the monthly close at this point. You can see that we're just consolidating up here, and nothing's really moving. And we have the FOMC meeting coming next week. So yeah, basically a week from today, we'll have the decisions on rates from Jerome Powell, and that's really going to tell where this market's going to go into February, of whether we're going to see a red February or things kind of level out between this 40 and 50K range, is what we're waiting for. And right now you can see we got to bounce off this support as low as a 4-hour chart. And then this perforated red line that I've had in here, that's a 10-year long trend line, acted as resistance, and now we are in this exact fractal pattern coming out of this apex, which is really interesting to me, because this is a 10-year and a 5-year intersection, as well as a major fib level from the 2022 downtrend. So, really interesting. These levels here are major and crucial levels in my opinion. This is what I'm watching. You can see this one acted as resistance. We got a little bit of a double top, so good chance we take another bounce off this line if we can't get up here this morning. We have failed to get above this line of resistance so far. Yeah, so 50 greed went up another point again, so that tells me again people are just sitting on their hands. They're waiting. They haven't really scared anybody out. I don't think they're shaking too many people out. They flushed some leverage, double top there. Yeah, double top on the 4-hour, but again, I don't think it's gonna come down too much this week. Market cap's come down a little bit. The Bitcoin dominance has come down a little bit. So, maybe people, leverage got flushed out for sure. And some people have taken some profits that have been in for the 160% gain in 2023. There's people who sold a chunk to take some for tax purposes. We know that Grayscale is selling 20,000 a day. But in 7 days, the ETFs have consumed have consumed 100,000 Bitcoin, right? So if they consumed 100,000 Bitcoin in the first week and there's only 1.5 million Bitcoin left, like, man, like this is the most basic of supply and demand demonstrations that we're going to see. It's and they're going to continue to consume it. 38K is a solid buy. Absolutely. Just missed my limit, so maybe we'll pick it up this time because we got that liquidity at 38.6, and I did put my limit at 38.376, so I could probably even move it down a little bit. That would have been nice to catch that one though, because now I'm still just holding rocks. But what do you do? What do you do? Go ahead and toss me a follow over at Web3 Jewels. Oh, it's not loading, of course. I don't know why that's not loading, but anyway, I keep you updated with some photos and some chart images over there. Things and stuffs. But again, nothing really happening, nothing major. Let's look at the S&P though, still charging at those all-time highs, or new all-time highs. So they're trying to break $4,900 and seeing some resistance there, 4,900. So waiting for this. You know, generally when the money flows out of the S&P 500, we have seen inflow to Bitcoin. So I continue to count on that because I have for the last year or more, and it's been working out pretty well. So we had another double bottom there. I mean, yeah, they got to retest this high possibly. So if they come back down $100, hopefully we get our pump back up to some safe levels above 45K. But until the end of the month, at least the end of this weekly close, I just want to see us stay above this 61.8% fill. And that's safe, in my opinion. 61.8. So that's 37K, actually. Like, I mean, the breakout of this move is 37K. And this is off the bodies of the monthly candles on these moves. Now, we could change this on the weekly. If we want it, we'll go to the weekly high, and then I like to use this. But again, not much different. Does bring it up to 38.5 there, which is healthy. So this is if I move it to the weekly bodies. This is if I move it to the weekly bodies. So really, we need to stay above 38K to close this week and close this month if we want to see, you know, at least some sideways action. And staying hopefully above 40K and play around between the 40 and 50K range here into February. If we can stabilize there, I mean, the RSI could still come down and get reset. We know the weekly RSI was getting pretty topped out there, but even though we get topped out, if we go down to the daily when this breakout happened, you know, the daily came out of the 70% RSI and then you know, retested the 60 here, just like the weekly is right now and the monthly is right now, and then made another run out. And that was our run up to 44.8 there. And then even this run here underneath 70% RSI. Actually, this is probably really hard for you guys to see. Even that last run up to 49K, you know, was still under the 70% RSI. So there's no reason that as the weekly rolls over like this, that we can't make more runs and just capitulate sideways here, right? So again, I don't rush into anything. I don't panic out of anything. And that's what I'm trying to do, is just build up my emotional tolerance and my risk tolerance for what is very likely the last epic bull run in Bitcoin. Super cycle, up and away. Welcome all to the chat. Liberty and Trust, Big Wrench in the house. Thank you very much. I kind of tend to get on some rants and get distracted. Again, we are covering the fact that 100,000 Bitcoin have already been consumed by ETFs. So even though Grayscale continues to sell about 20,000 Bitcoin a day, the ETFs are consuming this. We are seeing massive volume traded in the last week. We're seeing two of the fastest growing ETFs ever in history of some 500 ETFs launched. These are massive numbers. So to me, whatever this drop is, we can actually just look at this drop. Though I don't care, it's probably around 20%, 21.5, and that's really healthy, right? Super healthy, and you should be DCAing into red candles. This is your opportunity. Buy as often as possible, as much as you can afford, without putting everything in there, because maybe you want to beat someone in the head with a bar of gold once in a while or something, right? Yeah. So till the end of the week, the end of the month, this looks good. If we want to look at Ethereum again, I kind of felt like Ethereum deserved to stay on their 61.8 as we have, and probably a good chance that they do. Getting the rejections from 70% RSI, you can see they had the bearish divergence there, bringing them back down. But they should, ETH holders deserve this. There's been a lot of guys staked in there a long time, taking the seas of cheese here, sailing the seas of cheese. But Ethereum, good buy. On anything under 2,300 right now, they should have held 2,300 in my opinion. But you can see that the fibs don't lie. They are pretty good tells generally. Let's actually move this. Let's go get on these bodies, candle bodies. Yeah, I don't know. I think I liked it before. But Ethereum, still healthy. This is a good buy. This thing will outperform. So, I mean, if we're talking about over the next 2 years, like a Bitcoin's looking at like a 3x from 50K, and, Ethereum 4 or 5x. What do you think? 4 or 5x? The top 10 alts, but I don't know. I feel like people should really be focused on Bitcoin this time around, and not be greedy and not be chasing gains. Not everybody wins in altcoins. A lot of people do well, and you hear a lot of good stories, and that's great. But I mean, we're talking about 1% of the population that's in crypto, so there's exceptions. We hear about exceptions. ETH to 7K. Yeah, let's worry about holding 4K first, right? Let's not be too unrealistic. That's what I want to do too, is be realistic. Everyone thinks they're going to get rich overnight in this game, and I'm going to tell you it's not going to happen. But if you DCA into Bitcoin and tell you are comfortable with the fact that you can accumulate more value than you put in, that's the beauty of this thing, man. Like, you do get more value than you put in, because they've devalued the dollar so much. And Bitcoin, it literally just gives back to the people. If you just dollar cost average in. Bitcoin gives back to the people. It really does, though. You dollar cost average into this bitch, and it will give back to you. And there's some other projects that I do believe will stick around. And here you can see was kind of my prediction of what would happen, my brush stroke. And we tapped a 78.6. I don't think this is on. That's on a wick. That was not on a wick, so it's pretty close. But you can see we hit that, and I thought we were going to come down and retrace potentially to the 50% fib, which was around $33,000 to $32,000. And it could happen in a flash crash event, depending on what goes on with interest rates and things like that. But I just don't know. Again, I really feel like these levels are pretty important and pretty solid, and anything underneath this is going to be shakeout, is going to be scare tactics and a bit of fear mongering, because again, like the one thing that I see is that the ETFs in 1 week have accumulated 100,000 Bitcoin, and there's 1.5 million left, right? So they're coming for the bag. They're coming for the bag. Yeah. That's pretty much it. What else was going on in the paper today? Grayscale, BlackRock, among spot E3 ETFs. Many retail investors see Bitcoin price dropping below 20,000 by year end. Deutsche Bank. That is absurd to me, and they don't understand the halving. cycle. Be under 20K by the end of the year. Man, that is going to be some serious sorcery if that happens. Bitcoin holds 40K head of. Crypto options expiry. So yeah, $5.8 billion in crypto options expired. We're still holding these levels. That's in addition to the GBTC fund. Just a news article. Goodbye. Yeah, and you know, the one thing too that tells me this is not a sell the news event is the mainstream media getting up there and having actors read from a teleprompter that this is a sell the news event. It's not. If this is a sell the news event, how come they've bought 100,000 Bitcoin in the last week? This is a buy the news event. It was a buy the rumor. It's a buy the news event. And if you've been vigilant and you've been in here, then this thing didn't even shake you at all. And it's just whatever. It's just a part of the circus. You know what I mean? A 20% drop if you've been in after 160% gain didn't affect you at all. It doesn't matter. This is all theatrics. It's all theatrics and politics. It's bullshit. This is now politics in Bitcoin. That's it. The mainstream media fucking reading some bullshit. JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon's telling you to, you know what I mean, that Bitcoin's criminals and this and that. Epstein's banker. I don't know, I got too much into that, but yeah, he was he's paid out a lot of money, right? Hundreds of millions of dollars he's paid out for court cases and litigation against him. So he's the last person we should be taking Bitcoin advice from. But a lot of people will listen to a guy like that, right? Right? You know, and now you got these big influencers and you got people like Morgan Stanley and JP and all these guys reaching out to people with hundreds of millions and billions of dollars who are on social media talking about Bitcoin. Oh, hey, we got a Bitcoin ETF now. Get over here. Bring your wealth over here. Blah, blah, blah. Right? It's like, well, no. Like, I mean, the guy's accumulating Bitcoin on his own, right? Because he knows where the future's going. And we told you. Whatever the masses go, whatever the masses start talking about is where they're going to start putting their dollars and cents, because it's the only thing that makes sense. We got more power than we think. JP Demon is a slime ball, slithering snake. Absolutely he is. Yeah, exactly. And you know what I mean? He's probably accumulating Bitcoin on the back end somewhere. Anybody who gets caught trading it at his firm is fired, etc., etc. Tells you that it's used for money laundering and criminal activities and stuff like that. Where he's like he's one of the biggest crooks in the system. This is the issue with blockchain. Blockchain. It's not just Bitcoin that's disrupting the system. It's blockchain technology. It's exposing the hidden data, and the hidden data is them rinsing us. Fucking rinse and repeat. We're just gonna fucking get rinsed. So Bitcoin exposes all that, right? Bitcoin is the truth. It's the only honest transaction between a buyer and a seller. And it's the most liquid asset on the planet. You know, so to listen to a criminal like Jamie Dimon talk it down and just try to shake the masses, like the American public, tell the American public it's somehow bad, that like he's one of the biggest criminals there is. So fuck all that. He's a banker, yeah. Do the exact opposite. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I don't know. That's the one thing I don't like. You know, now, mainstream media, it's good that they talk about it, I suppose. Like, adoption is good. You know, I don't know. But I haven't been in long enough. So I don't really generally care if it runs right away. Like, I'd like another couple of years to accumulate more. But we got this run coming. And it's going to be good. If we stack a little bit of a low leverage long position that returns in Bitcoin, then as long as our exchange doesn't get shut down by the government somehow, maybe we'll have whole Bitcoin. That's what I'd like. I'd like one whole Bitcoin. But you shouldn't be putting everything into this bag. You shouldn't be putting everything into this bag. Should have some other things. Should have some other things. Diversify, but just slightly. Just in case. Just in case they turn the whole thing upside down. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's what I got. for today. Again, like I said, I didn't want to go too much into the nitty gritty because I do feel like this is just the apex that we are waiting in and floating in here. You can see. Let's get right zoomed in on it. See what happens. If exchange gets shut, another will just reopen. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but if you're holding money like, 2021 and 2020, everyone was feeling pretty good and they got rooked by Voyager or BlockFi, etc. Maybe you'll get your money back, but or Celsius and etc. Yeah, zoomed in here. So I mean, look at this apex again. We got. Oh man, I keep moving that green line around. It's important for some reason, so we don't want to move that. Again, 5-year line. Red perforated line is a 10-year trend line. Orange one's a 5-year trend line. And this is the major 61.8% Fibonacci line, the yellow line. This is the weekly chart. So massive breakout of these apexes. Retest, right? Again, waiting till the end of the week. Not panicking out, not rushing in. And as long as we stay above, then I think the roller coaster continues. The roller coaster shall continue. Because the longer it stays, the less likely it is to go down, in my opinion. In my opinion. So, let's look at what that is, actually. 61.8% Fibonacci if we are on the weekly candle body closes of the top and the bottom. So that's where we're watching. We will keep you updated. Thanks for chiming in as always. We ride the wave. Absolutely. We ride this roller coaster. Keep just enough to trade on exchange. HODL portfolios separate and keep it in cold storage. Yeah. I'm not quite there yet. I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm all right. I'm doing all right, but I'm in that point where I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a bigger leverage bet for the bull run to try and get to that point. We're just getting there. We're just building. Haven't been in for very many years. 2021, I bought my first crypto. 2021, right? Yeah. So let's get that bag. Yeah. Tunes. This is a good one. Take it easy. Every little sat helps. Yeah, what was it? What's $100? 2,500 cents? No, it's gonna be one. Is that $1? 2,500 cents? Do the math on that. And I think, yeah, in the future, things probably will be measured in sats. You know what I mean? And it'll be deflationary. So if something costs you 2,500 sats or, 25,000 sats or whatever, in the future it's gonna be 15,000 sats. Isn't that something? Listen to that guitar solo. I love that. Ranger. Guy from Victoria. Ranger Band official. Check him out. Good tunes. Someone else around. Joseph Nemeth in the house. Also another Victoria company. Our Movers. If you need something moved, delivered, they are Vancouver Island's trusted moving and delivery service. Check them out. What's my take on what? Manta? Does that say Manta? I hate when it like the end of the last comment gets cut off. Manta. Let's look at Manta. Let's look at Manta. Whew. Internet. Just a struggle street. They tell me my Wi-Fi's crack, but I just don't know about that. Just don't know about that. Well. What do we got here? Whoo! Yeah, I don't like the look of that. I mean, maybe it continues up, but I mean, I, again, do not go aping into things that have already done the massive run out of the gutter. I don't like aping into things that have already done the massive run out of the gutter. And maybe it keeps going. but it's already moving pretty good, right? Like I said, I don't like buying green, right? So yeah, sure, that looks great. If you got it down here, it looks great. If you got it down here, it looks great. But I have a hard time personally getting into something that looks like that. And maybe that was the dip. Maybe that was the dip, and it holds support and keeps going. But yeah, with Bitcoin unsure, I am not focused on anything else until I know where this is going. Right? Because like honestly, a lot of altcoins can run, or a meme coin can run, but it's like you never know. It's like you're playing roulette. You know what I mean? You just hope you get on a number that does a ride. I'm not playing like that this time around, because I lost a lot of money at the end of 2021 after doing really well in Bitcoin, and I bought that hype of alt season and all that crap. I'm not gonna do that again. Not gonna do that again. BTC, ETH, LTC, keep it simple, 3 amigos. Yeah, absolutely. I'm growing really fond of LTC personally, because it's one of the easiest tokens to trade, to be honest. It's pretty stable, pretty steady, and the transaction fees are so low. So I buy on my on-ramp and I transfer to a trade exchange for a fraction of a penny. You don't even notice it. And away you go. LTC is great. LTC is a great coin. Love it. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Thanks for chiming in. As always, I will see you again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we'll get into these charts. Hang in there, and we'll catch you in the next one.